I would pledge to keep us safe. If you told me, Tim, and this is complicated stuff. We talk about this in isolation. The fact of the matter is the Iranians may get 2.6 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. The Pakistanis have hundreds, thousands of kilograms of highly enriched uranium. If by attacking Iran to stop them from getting 2.6 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, the government in Pakistan falls, who has missiles already deployed with nuclear weapons on them that can already reach Israel, already reach India, then that's a bad bargain. Presidents make wise decisions informed not by a vacuum in which they operate, by the situation they find themselves in the world. I will do all of my power to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, but I will never take my eye off the ball. What is the greatest threat to the United States of America? 2.6 kilograms of highly enriched uranium in Tehran or an out-of-control Pakistan? It's not close.
Senator Dodd.
Well, listen, there's a deeper question here, because not only what the pledge you make, but this audience and others here make a determination which of us here have the experience, the background here to manage this situation. It's a critical question. As I said at the outset of the first question you gave me here, this is the most critical time in a generation in this country. The problem's not only in the Middle East, and what's going on in the Far East, as well as in Latin America and elsewhere. And which of us here brings the background, the experience, the ability to make a difference on these issues, including the question of Iran. I agree with Joe. I think the more immediate problem is Pakistan, the one that needs to be addressed. But certainly bringing that experience together so that you're able to marshal the resources, put together the kind of team, and demonstrate as a result of what you've been able to accomplish over the years that you can actually handle this situation. Results matter. Experience matters. Having the demonstrated ability to deal with these issues is critical. So certainly I would make a pledge, obviously do everything we can to avoid this problem. But I would suggest to you, Tim, that the more immediate issue is the one exactly that Joe has identified here. Pakistan does pose a more serious issue for this country, and one that needs to be addressed. That's what I did in Latin America when I negotiated the settlements in El Salvador and Nicaragua, going back 20 years ago. Deeply involved in the process, working day after day with various elements to bring about the kind of results that today has reduced the threats of violence in that part of the world. That's what's needed here, a leader that has the experience and the background to grapple with these issues.
Governor Richardson.
Well, I would make the pledge, and it would be through diplomacy. And what we're also talking about is not just Pakistan. We're talking about enriched uranium, a loose nuclear weapon, nuclear materials, fissionable material throughout the world. Even more of a threat than nuclear weapons is a loose nuclear weapon crossing the border. So what we need is an international agreement. But the key has to be diplomacy. And I have, in the fourth row, there's a man named Bill Barloon, who I rescued from an Iraqi prison in Abu Ghraib. And it's going to take leadership, it's going to take diplomacy, it's going to take negotiation. I went head to head with Saddam Hussein, and I brought 2 Americans out. Bill Barloon is one. And the greatest words I heard after I got him out was, "Thank you." And then I said, "I'm taking you home." That's diplomacy. That means talking to the Irans, to the Syrians, to the North Korea. I've done it all my life as a diplomat, as a UN ambassador, as a special envoy, as a hostage negotiator. I've got the most international experience here, with all due respect. There's a lot of good international experience here, but I've gone head to head in North Korea, and we got back 6 remains of our soldiers 6 months ago. We got the North Koreans to stop their nuclear reactor. And so I believe it's important that we have a leader, not just that can bring people together, but could resolve some of the thorniest problems we have.
Congressman Kucinich, same question.
With all due respect to our friends from the media here, the media itself has to be careful how you frame these questions. We don't want to be put in a position where we are taking this country to the threshold of war. The media did play a role in taking us into war in Iraq. And I'm urging the members of the media to urge restraint upon you and our president, whose rhetoric is out of control. I would go to Iran, and I would urge Iran not just to not have nuclear weapons. I would urge them to give up nuclear power, because nuclear power is the most expensive type of power there is. It is not a sustainable type of power because of the cost of it. It is unsafe. I would urge Iran to give up nuclear power. But I would also do something further. It is time that the United States government enforced and participated in fully the Non-Proliferation Treaty, which calls for the abolition of all nuclear weapons. We must lead the way, and we must have a president who understands the danger of these nuclear weapons and have America lead the way among all nations towards nuclear abolition. When we do that, we will have the credibility to go to an Iran and any other nation that may have desires for nuclear power to say, look, we want to take it in a different direction. We are not going to stand by and watch our country lost because we are ratcheting up the rhetoric towards war against Iran. We have to stop this, Tim. We have to stop ratcheting up the rhetoric for war. We really need to stop it.
Senator Clinton, elsewhere in the region, let's talk about Iraq. One of your military advisors, retired Lieutenant General Claudia Kennedy, while campaigning for you in New Hampshire, was recently quoted saying, quote, "I don't oppose the war. I have never heard Senator Clinton say, I oppose the war," close quote. Senator Clinton, do you oppose the war in Iraq?
Absolutely, but I do not, and I don't think any of us do, oppose the brave young men and women who have fought this war with such distinction and heroism. You know, I have said repeatedly that I will begin to bring our troops home as soon as I am president, because it is abundantly clear that President Bush does not intend to end the war while he is still president. In order